Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call our meeting to order 7:03. And we'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we do roll call, please?
Trustee Cook,
Here.
trustee Solochuk,
Here.
trustee Brown,
Here.
Mayor Bucciferro.
Here. And trustee Gray is excused. Exciting day. We're now going to do the swearing in of our new police officer, Carlton Kohlmeyer. I hope I said it right. You would hang around for a picture or two.
I, Carlton Kohlmeyer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Code of the Village of Scotia.
and the Code of the Village of Scotia,
And I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge the duties of Scotia Police Officer
discharge the duties of a Scotia police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Welcome aboard.
Wherever you think it's best.
Yeah, let's do it up here.
We're not active to the quarter.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Next, we're going to have a presentation on the community water system lead and copper rule revisions, and we're pleased to have Doug Cole from Prime AE to be here to discuss this with us.
Oh,
Just point it up.
Stand.
Thank you. Back to whoever I'm turning it to at the time. But I'm Doug Cole with Prime AE Group. And for those of you that don't know me, I've been a consulting engineer for 30 years and actually have worked with the Village of Scotia since 1996. One of the only visible colleagues you may see from me is the Freedom Park stage, as I know back in the 90s. But I'm here tonight to talk about the lead service line replacement program. This is a program that was put out by the EPA. Next slide. So the original lead and copper rule came out in June 7th of 1991, and it was to protect the public health by minimizing lead and copper levels in drinking water, by primarily reducing water corrosivity. And that the lead and copper really comes off of the pipes in your system. And these are mainly your service lines that are made of lead and copper. And the other common material is galvanized steel. So the rule in 1991 established action levels of 15 parts per billion for lead and 1,300 parts per billion for copper, based on 90th percentile level of tap water samples. Now, what that means is that if 10% of the samples are above these limits, then it can trigger additional monitoring for erosion control treatment or lead service line replacement. Just know you're not alone, all communities, community water systems are subject to lead and copper rule requirements. And the EPA reports that since implementation a little over 30 years ago, the lead copper rule action level exceedances have decreased by over 90%. So, public health benefits to reducing lead and copper in the water is been studied a lot, and EPA reports that exposure to lead can cause damage to the brain, red blood cells, kidneys, and especially in younger children and pregnant women. The risk of copper exposure can cause stomach and intestinal distress, liver, kidney damage, or complications of Wilson's disease in genetically predisposed people. So we want to follow the rule and reduce lead and copper in the system to keep everybody healthy. Now, just 2 years ago in December, EPA updated the lead and copper rule to kind of kickstart it, jumpstart it, get things moving along. So they've now required lead testing of internal plumbing in schools and childcare facilities. They've changed the way they have the sample tests sampled in homes. So it used to be that you would take the first liter sample after 6 hours of no use, like an overnight period. But now they've changed it to sampling the 5th liter, and that's where they're trying to get a sample of the water that's in your service line. And I went to the next little slide because it's got a little depiction of a house. My pointer won't work on a TV. So at the bottom here, you see the water main in the road. This purple line coming in is your water service. And then the other blue lines are the internal plumbing of the house. And you'll see on here there's little liter bottles numbered 1 through 10. So the first 3 samples, 3 liters of that sample now, really are coming from inside the house. That's why you're now taking the 5th liter to get a sample of what's been sitting in your service line. And that's what is the new rule this year. So there's also the updated rule. There's a new 10 parts per billion of lead trigger that level requires more rapid implementation of your erosion control treatment and lead service line replacement program. It also shortens the public notification times if lead is found in a home. I know that the village just recently sent out some notices. Our public water systems are also required to identify and make public the locations of all service lines October 16, 2024. So that's your lead service line inventory. So basically, there's a little less than 2 years to get that accomplished. It's a big lift. Another thing here is if the lead test above 15 parts per billion, you need to start developing a plan for your lead service line replacements. And that's a larger system. Smaller systems do have some lessening of the compliance options. There's pages and pages of EPA rules. I tried to just kind of simplify this down from 11 pages of EPA stuff, just some highlights for you here tonight. So small systems can meet compliance by erosion control treatment, and or lead service line replacement, you know, maybe a combination of both. The sixth slide, it talks about the water quality in the village of Scotia. So the most recent annual report for the village was in 2021. So those were samples taken roughly a year ago. And the copper was good. It was only about 0.01 parts per billion and 1,300 is limit. So we were well within the copper limits. But the lead 90th percentile was 17.9, so that was a little bit above the 15 limit. And of the 30 samples, 4 of them exceeded 15, and the samples range from non-detect to 61 parts per billion. So at the bottom of the slide is a couple of pictures that show how someone could determine if they have a lead service line. And this is probably going to be something that we're going to need resident help with as part of this program. I know the city of Albany has a similar program. They have people take pictures of them scraping their pipe and seeing if the magnet will stick. So if you scrape your pipe and it's silvery and the magnet doesn't stick, that's most likely lead. If you scrape your pipe and with a penny, it's the same color as a penny, then you have a copper line. And if you scrape your pipe and it's silvery and a kitchen magnet sticks to it, then you most likely have a galvanized steel line. And that testing is done right where the service comes into the home, which is usually up, your service line comes in through your basement floor or through your basement wall. So the most important part of any of these programs is how do you fund that? So in this case, the Interstate Environmental Facilities Corporation, which is a public benefit corporation, and they provide low cost capital for programs and grants for water quality improvement projects through the State Creek Water Revolving Fund. They have programs that will fund lead service line work. So as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, there's going to be funding for lead service line inventory and replacement. We just contacted the state bureau chief last week to see if he had any other information on this program. We don't know what the grant percentages are going to be yet. They're still working that out at the state level. So the federal government gives the state the bill money and then they have to distribute it. So EFC and Department of Health are working together to put that program together to get money out to the communities. So the priority here is the lead service line inventory. But then, once that inventory is complete, then you would look into how you go about lead service line replacement. So eligibility requirements, the bill money is being run through the existing programs. So when you apply for lead service line work, you can't package it with any other water system improvements. It has to be a standalone project. It's going to have a special category through the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. An engineering report is required as part of the application. And you can apply for, as I said earlier, lead service line replacements, the inventory, or both. But really, at this point, there's no inventory at all, so you would know what would be replaced, so you have to start with your inventory. You can even break this up into phases, but not the inventory, and it has to be done by October 16, 2024. There are some other potential funding sources that could be looked into. Probably the most promising one is the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act, or WIA. That program, I believe, has applications due in September. Things change a little bit each year, but that's generally when the applications are due. And EPA has listed some other funding programs, the Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, and also Community Development Block Grants. But all these have different criteria for meeting the criteria for this funding. So this last step, or last slide is the next steps. So your first item here is to perform a corrosion control study. And we were just hired earlier this year, I think a month or so ago, to work on that corrosion control study. So we'll be working with Ryan here to get data and work on that. The Department of Health has required us to complete that study by the end of 2023. That won't be a problem. So the items involved in that corrosion control study are going to include evaluation of the raw well water and the distribution water quality. We're going to look at different optimization treatment methods for corrosion control. And those could be one of two main things. One is a corrosion inhibitor, which is usually a polyurethane, which sequesters lead and copper in the water and coats the piping so that it doesn't leach into the drinking water. And another option is chemical stabilization, where you just pH drop blending to reduce the corrosion potential of the piping. So then that study will result in a report with our recommendations. And we'll meet with those to go over those options. And of course, the Department of Health will also be reviewing the study and approving it. And then, so the other item that you're looking at here is developing the lead service inventory. It's going to be a big lift for village staff. There's a lot of historic paperwork to go through. In basically a little more than a year and a half. Luckily, EPA has developed a template that will help you guide you through what information you need to collect. That's where also I think resident assistance is going to be needed, because we're not going to be able to go to every house and check the services. So, if we can get, a good bunch of people that are going to check it, take photos and send them in, then it probably is only a small percentage that we will have to go and verify. Respond, because we have to have 100% compliance with this. Certainly, we can help that task. And then the last thing is, once you have these things together, your corrosion control study, the recommended project, and your lead service line inventory, you know how many are going to need to be replaced over, say, the next 15 years, you would apply for funding. And we listed some of those funding sources earlier. And again, we can come up with the ability for that as well. So that's the basic overview of the program.
I've got a couple questions, if you don't mind, and then we'll go around. Sound good? So it sounds like we can do self-reporting. We will be able to do some level of self-reporting.
There's,
We're gonna have to do.
there's nobody else that can.
I just wanted to make sure it was acceptable mechanism to do. Okay. Okay. And we considered small in this?
Yes.
Okay. Just a couple of other things. For those individuals who are currently concerned because they may have done some tests, the recommendation would be, one, they could run the water for a while.
Definitely running the water until you get that 10th liter out, or drinking bottled water is certainly a safe option.
And do certain filters will work as well?
Yeah,
To an extent.
Certainly reverse osmosis would work the best. I'd have to look into other types of
Okay.
filters.
If you can let us know that,
Yeah.
we could notify the, our residents about that as well.
Yeah.
And then my only other one was, you talked about going forward with first identifying our inventory and then putting in for a grant to fix that issue.
Right.
Because we don't have the inventory yet. Is there a way that you do so we'd have to do first grant would be around inventory, and then the second around remediation?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Trustee Cook?
Yeah, so the one question I have, we obviously have parts of our distribution system that are within the village proper, other parts within the town. The scope of the water quality study and the corrosion study, is that just dealing with the areas within the village proper, or also other water districts that are on the same supply line?
It would include basically the other districts because you're supplying them with water. So when we look at the raw water samples, that applies to the whole system. And any of the distribution sampling, you'd want a good cross-section of the system.
Thank you.
Thanks. Trustee Brown?
Can you talk about what the expectation is for a village match on the replacement grants, if there is one?
Well, Department of Health has not issued the guidance on what kind of grant percentage is going to be available or how they're going to score it yet. So it's really it's hard to say at this point. We're keeping in constant contact with them so that we can find out as soon as it's released.
And then the sampling that we're doing now, can you comment on where that fits in terms of testing people's internal plumbing versus the supply lines? Sorry, the expanded scope of the testing we're
Right.
doing now.
Well, the regular testing is going to be happening soon, right?
Yeah,
And are we on the 5th liter type sampling?
yeah, whatever the new.
Yep. Right, so the village is on top of, that new protocol.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions we're getting is where that's potentially coming from, right? So there's a lot of questions about that. So this we will actually have some answers on that once the sampling is
Yeah,
done.
and I think you have to do 60 samples now, where it used to be only 30. So you're gonna get a much bigger picture throughout the system.
Yep, thanks. Those are my questions.
Trustee Solichak?
Thank you very much for coming in and putting some clarity to it. It's important to know, my home was in the villages was built in 1918. I'm relatively certain my water main has never been replaced. A wife, 3 kids, 2 dogs, 3 toilets, 2 showers, 5 people showering every day. We all drink the water every single day. Very confident in our supply. Our supply is the same supply as the town. It's the same supply as the city. We're all drawing from the same source. So the source obviously is not the problem. And you mentioned it earlier about many municipalities, if not all of us, have the aging infrastructure, which is, mostly towards the end of the service to the residents. So
Right.
I think it's important to note that all the things that you talked about are part of a long-term plan where you're going to effectively find the best place to put the funding, improve the source of the funding, and then put it to good use. So
Correct.
I think it's important to note that we are all still safe. The
Yeah.
source of the water is safe. We're using the best guidance that we have, and we're not alone in this measure. So I think any distribution of any information outside of that, like it's, our water problem, it's not our water problem. It's an aging infrastructure problem that everybody's dealing with, some before others. So I just applaud the efforts of our Department of Public Works and our guidance from our teams of people who are dealing with this water quality issue at the county. And I think it's important to note that. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor Bucciferro, if I could ask another question. One other question I have is, can you just talk a little bit more about the specifics of the water quality study? What exactly are you going to be looking for? Is it just lead, copper? We could be looking at other things like flow and how that might impact presence of certain minerals, materials.
So, yeah, the corrosion control study, we're going to get the full, probably at least 3 years worth of full raw water data from the village and any of the sampling that's been done throughout the system. And we do take a good look at all the different parameters. Because if one of the options is chemical stabilization, meaning pH or alkalinity adjustment, there are other things in the water that could affect how those would react and if they would work effectively for you versus, a polyether phosphate product.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask one more question? In terms of the corrosion control, I don't know if off the top of your head, it might be important to note which of our surrounding municipalities put additives and stabilizers in their supply in order to do this.
Actually, quite a few. We work in the town of Rotterdam, town of Princetown. Those are the only two that I work directly with that I can think of at the moment.
But common.
Oh, it's very common. I mean, throughout, we work all up and down the Mohawk Valley, and we have systems all over the place. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. I want to echo Trustee Solochuk's comments. Our water safe. There's solutions that we're taking on. There's options that we're looking at. People who are concerned about their water, on our website is a test where you can contact New York State and get a test kit. And there is even solutions that individual homeowners can take if they have a concern about this. And we'd be happy to work with them if they are concerned about, how they can remediate this issue in their home. Like Trustee Solochuk, my house was built in 1890 something. I did make the move to update all of our plumbing, but I know there's other options too. We have a reverse osmosis piece on it. So, I just want the residents to know we're taking this very serious. We're looking into all the options that we have. We know that other communities have this same issue, and it doesn't mean that we're not looking at it as a very serious issue. We are, and I think we're doing everything we can within the timeframes given to us.
Right, you're following the EPA and Department of Health guidance requirements. They wouldn't give you a year to do a study if it was an immediate problem. And then another year or two to implement your recommendations.
Thank
So,
you.
yes, you're correct.
Thank you for taking my last question and not having me ask it. Trustees, any other questions?
If I
Please do.
may, it's a testament to the process. I think the process was laid out, it was revised, and I think you said 2020, so it's a testament to the process. You said about the 30 samples that we had, there were 4 that tested above the recommended levels.
Right.
We all have stories of people and their concerns with the, from people that we speak to about the, there's individuals who have young children who are not in the 5 people, 2 dogs house like I am. They're in single mother homes with 1 child that have a different concern than I do. Even so, it's just important to note that throughout all this, like, just to echo what you just said, it's, we're following the guidance of other people other than us. We're doing everything we can, and we're drinking the same water. So it's I'm glad to have this forum to be able to present the facts and try kind of take a deep breath and look towards the future.
Thank you. The only other thing is we most likely will invite you back.
Certainly.
And we'd love for you to participate in maybe a public forum around this for us. And
Yeah, that, and, as we get into the corrosion control study, in the coming year, we can give updates
Perfect.
As we go through.
Good. I think the board would really appreciate that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And that's scrape the line with a penny, right?
To check your service, yes.
Yeah, it's a penny.
Double check.
Want Doug to speak about Washington?
That was going to be my next piece. If you don't mind, if we're everybody okay shifting? Any other, okay. We will shift to an update on our Washington.
Sure. So 5 years ago already, we put together a water system improvement project for the village. And it had 4 different components. What the major one was completing a Washington Avenue water main loop to get rid of that dead end. So that requires about 1,700 feet of 8-inch main to go from the dead end on Washington to get up to Sunnyside Road. Am I not close enough? The second component was improvements to well 2, which included replacing the screen, the pump and motor, and some other miscellaneous things at the well field. The third item was replacing isolation valves throughout the system that are broken. And the fourth was replacing the Spring Road tank. So right now you have an underground vault. We had looked at putting an above ground tank at that location, same spot on Spring Road. So back in 2017, that was a $2.5 million project. And we submitted for CWSRF or DWSRF funding and WIA funding. And the project did not score high enough to get any money at that point. The DWSRF program has been rolling over the project year to year, and they check the score against the new applicants. And there's just so many more that apply that get higher scores, they never get down to your score. As of right now, you have 45 points. And you would need 70 points or more to get a subsidized loan, which is about 1/3 of the market rate. And you'd need more than 95 points to be eligible for the hardship grant. And that's based on 2022 figures. Things may change a little bit in 23. They always adjust things a little bit. So that's where it stands. Ryan and I spoke earlier this year, is there anything else that the village needs to do in the water system? So he put together like a wish list, and then we kind of looked at the wish list versus the scoring items to see if we could get any more score, and really didn't identify anything that's going to push the score up. I am going to check if, having the corrosion control study, if the recommended project out of that could be packaged into this and then updated for the funding, and maybe the score would improve, because technically it's a water treatment, and that scores a lot better than pipe replacement. So by packaging multiple things together, we try to get the whole thing approved.
Mayor Bucciferro, if I
Yes.
can ask a question. Can you just explain a little bit how does the scoring work? What criteria do they specifically look for that increases it? And then also, excellent. And then, perhaps, in that area, we have had, some issues of chlorine residual, which is again a water treatment issue. And then, but also we did have a fire where the flow did not necessarily create any issues with the fire response, but it did add a complication to it. Do those two situations increase the score at all?
Again, there's not a lot of score for mains. It's like an aged mains item. I could have sworn I put this in my paperwork. Well, I can send you the scoring sheet. I'll email it
If
to
you
the-
could do that, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll email it to the whole board. And it shows where the different categories are. And then, we can look at how some of these other more recent things that have come up would score, if they might improve your score.
But in terms of the last 5 years, in your professional opinion, the Village of Scotia has done everything that we possibly could have done to be competitive, to be able to address this issue.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why packaging certain things that score better with other things that don't score as well, but as a combined whole that improves your score, we just got to see if there's other things that you need that would help it increase that score.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Solotra?
Yeah, I'm good. I look forward to the scoring sheet. It's something that I'm not certainly involved with on a day-to-day basis, as many residents are, so it'll be good to see it. And
Okay.
have that education to bring out to the public.
Great. Trustee Brown?
Because there are going to be village residents, watching this feed, hopefully, can you just go over briefly the difference between residual chlorine, coliform, what it is you do want to see in your water test, what you don't want to see in your water test, and what that means?
Right, so you're required to disinfect your water system. So you don't want to see fecal coliform or E. coli in your drinking water. So the village needs to inject enough of that chlorine at the well field to carry throughout your whole system. And that includes the farthest, most distant reaches and dead ends and all that. So Department of Health tells you how many tests and where you take them. And you just need essentially a trace of chlorine residual, because if there's a trace, that means it's killed everything in your water, and there's still a little bit of chlorine left over that wasn't needed. So you have a trace, you're good.
Thank you.
And we are looking at additional ways to make that happen. I believe it's right that you're helping us look at.
As far as the dead end
Yeah.
issue, because the funding process takes so long, we're already 5 years into this
Yeah.
and no money. We were actually just talking with the town of Niskiuna, who has a similar issue where they have multiple dead end mains with, low volume problems. So they found a product that's an automatic flushing hydrant. And they've installed 2 or 3 this fall. Ryan's gone over and took a look at it. And I think we're looking at maybe doing that in the spring on Washington Avenue. So it's either going to be a great temporary solution or it might be a long-term solution.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mayor Boucher,
Yes.
if I may ask, so dead end mains
Mhm.
of this nature are common, and how
Oh.
common?
They're throughout pretty much any system. What happens is you have a core system that's networked together very well with pipes, on streets connected to the next street, and it's all networked together. Just think of the core of the village where the streets are close together and there's a pipe on every street and they're teed into each other at every intersection. But then once you start getting out to the edges of the village, the pipe runs are longer, the houses are farther apart, and you want to serve everybody, but then there's no more houses on that street. It was too expensive at that time to put a main all the way from Washington, the dead end, up to Sunnyside Road to serve no one. But the water quality issues that I've been hearing about, that makes you look into this further. But this happens in a lot of systems.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, we will invite you back, probably a number of times, just to keep us updated on where things are going. Ryan's been great with us and helping us in the whole DPW work that they're doing. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open the hearing and privilege of the floor. However, I do not see anyone
Thanks, Doctor.
here to speak, so we'll close the hearing and privilege of the floor. And we'll move on to a resolution regarding our standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials.
I'd like to make a motion for the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Next is an authorization for payments. Before we move to that, if the trustees are okay with me, I'd prefer if we could do a little facilities update before we take those.
That would be a friendly amendment to the agenda.
Thank you. So I'm going to read the municipal facilities project update. I've also asked trustee Solo Truck that if there's some additions as a member of that committee he wants to make. So the building committee continues to meet on a bi-weekly schedule to further develop the overall floor plans for the fire station and municipal building. The design teams have reached the 60% complete milestone for the firehouse portion of the project. Those documents are currently under review by Huber Brewer. This open comment session was presented by design team H2M. They prepared several elevations of the new station to share with the community. Attendance was relatively low, with approximately 12 people attending. The design will take all comments into consideration and continue design process for the new station. The November 22nd meeting was attended by the mayor-elect, Butcher Farrell. He was given an overview of the project phasing, budget, and design development. The committee will start to develop in more detail, the program for the Village Hall renovations. And the mayor-elect voiced a strong interest and desire to assist the committee in that development. The project will be out to bid for phase 1 in January 2023 with a May 2023 construction start date. The phase 2 design will continue through the spring of 2023. The committee is also considering replacing the roof of the Village Hall in the summer of 2023 due to its poor condition. The new work will not be affected by the renovation. Trustee Solochuk, anything to add?
Talking to Ryan. No, I think it's important to note a couple details on that. I was late to the meeting because I had the wrong day, and I thank you for texting me and saying, where are you? Because I was in the middle of a day job meeting. But yeah, like the report said from our construction lead, it's great to have somebody who's done this before to kind of guide us through this process and all of the things that we don't see every day. They come with, D-size plan sheets that are 3 inches thick with all of the different details on it. And like I said, we're at the 60% point, we're moving through it. They went through and picked kind of the details as far as what's going on the walls, what's going on the ceilings, and then trying to find all of the things as we're getting towards the costing of the project. Like I said, phase 1 for January we're all right on time. We're all right on schedule up till now. Once we get to that point and we have an actual current day market rate is when we'll get the final costing. But as of right now, it's sitting right where we should be. And I think everybody should be pleased with what's going on. And I hope as you are more involved in it on this end, because you were involved on the beginning of selection. Yeah. So I think as you see this, I hope that you're feeling the same way that I am, because I can get a little bit long-winded in support of the facilities project as a whole, from our new fire station to right on through the support of our village employees. Public safety officers.
Thank you, Trustee Solochuk. Any questions on the facility by the board? No? Okay. Agenda item number 7.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize payment number 2 to Huber Brewer Construction Company in the amount of $26,100.
I'll second.
Any discussion needed? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, again, these numbers that are coming out are within the plan. They're identified by phasing. I forgot one part, but I'll do that in my comments.
Okay. Yeah, and just so people understand that this is the money that's coming out of our project money. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next is the item number 8.
I'll make a motion to authorize payment number 2 to H2M Architects and Engineers in the amount of $80,244.05 for architectural services related to the municipal facilities project.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So moved. Next is agenda item number 9.
I'll make a motion to authorize payment number 2 to Napierala Consulting, hope I pronounced that right, in the amount of $7,192.15 for civil engineering services related to the municipal facilities project. Did I say that right?
I'll second and I'll play it back for him the next time you see it.
Great.
Naparella.
Naparella, there's a.
Any discussion?
Napier.
Besides the pronunciation of the company?
Yes.
Say it again. Naparella. Naparella.
I prefer you don't get,
retract my previous.
I would prefer you don't get
correct
Italian names
Naparella.
wrong.
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So moved. Item number 10,
I would like to authorize payment or make a motion to authorize payment number one to Gilbert Van Gilder, Land Surveyor, PLLC, in the amount of $7,425 for boundary, topographic, and utility services, survey services related to the funding of the municipal facilities project.
I'll second. Oh,
did you give 1 second? Okay, any comments? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Item number 11,
I'd like to redeem myself by making a motion to authorize payment number one to
Don't
you do that? Hodson Russ LLP in the amount of $13,841.46 for financial services related to the funding of the municipal facilities project.
I will second.
thank you. Comments?
I just want to say, with regards to the financing as well as all the finance reporting, I want to commend our clerk treasurer for keeping a really amazing book, tracking all these expenditures. Great job.
Agreed.
Here.
I second.
Any other questions, comments? We all feel the same on that one, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Next are our department reports. Brian, would you like to?
All right, busy month for the Department of Public Works. Everybody knows the lead exceedance mailing that went out. A lot of questions, comments, concerns been answered, talked to a lot of people. Just want to reiterate that village water is safe. We're testing weekly, quarterly, following Department of Health standards, right on track. I do want to thank the residents for a overwhelming response and the sign up on the website. We have now pulled down the online form, just because we have so many test sites that we're not going to hit them all. We only need 60 this round. So the link is on the website for free New York State testing. Spoke with the mayor a few times regarding Washington Ave. Putting together a proposal now to give to him to present to the board on a flushing station that'll be placed at 73 Washington Ave. This can be set to run 3 times a day, 4 times a day, half hour at a rip, 5 minutes at a rip. We'll see what we get when we start doing it. That'll be plumbed directly into the sanitary sewer system. So we will be treating the water that we're flushing, but we're going to be pulling that residual, and that's what we want to do. So keep that residual up. We poured a new concrete floor in our chlorine building at the pump house and installed 2 new pumps into the system. So that's up and running and complete and been running good. We did order 40 sage green galvanized raised flower beds for the community garden. They'll be on their way. Haven't got a ship date yet, but Bruce cleaned out the storage shed down there, so we're gonna store some down there and keep some other ones at DPW, and then that'll start in spring. WMJ Keller and Sons will be starting Washington Ave Bike and Pedestrian Connection Project, hopefully May 2023, as long as weather permitting.
It's gonna be a busy month that May.
It is, yeah, gonna be very busy. Most of November was spent for the annual loose leaf collection. 1 month, we did 3 times around the village, complete times. Last pass, the sweeper went out to clean up the curb lines. That's done. Yard waste is finished for the year. It's a good year. We did 15 dig safe utility locations during the month. We had 4 residents complete sidewalks for the sidewalk replacement program. We pumped an average of 960,000 gallons of water per day in November and treated almost that at the sewer plant. Parks Department, another busy month. They did a great job maintaining the park this year through all the concert series and all of that. Day 2 were loose leaf collection. We keep most of the leaves that fall in the park in the spoils area and bake that in the topsoil so we can use it for village projects throughout the village or for park projects where we're planting grass and things like that. We also actually did a project for the town of Glenville. We cleaned Berkeley Square for them. We sent all the Parks Department staff out there, sent the equipment out there. They spent a morning out there cleaning up Berkeley Square, which is off of Van Buren Road. And then we stack on the side of the road and the town of Glenville leaf vac truck comes up and picks up what we collected. We clean out all the bushes and around the trees and blow everything out and clean it up for them. They also did the snowflakes and bows along Mohawk Ave this year to get ready for Holiday on the Ave. We did a full bulb replacement on all 18 snowflakes, totaling almost 1,000 bulbs. So that was a fun project for the parks guys. I'm sure their fingers were sore at the end of that, but they look good and did a nice job. And then just like routine pickup of garbage in the park, wind zone, we collect all the garbage that blows around the village down there. So it's a constant issue. And then just routine cleaning and maintenance of equipment. And I've been fighting off our resident beaver that has been damming up the lake outlet, and it's been a constant battle. So he's been taking down full trees on the island, and we've wrapped the trees with chicken wire trying to prevent it, and he's chewing right through that too. So it's been a fight with him. Other than that, yeah, that's about.
Few people win battling a beaver.
Yeah,
So,
they're tough, very tough.
Mayor Bucciferro, may I have privilege of the floor about that beaver?
yes.
When we did the park cleanup not so long ago, I saw the tail end of that beaver. It is a magnificent sight to see.
He's a big guy. Yeah,
He's a
big
very
guy or
big
girl.
beaver.
I'm not sure what it is.
Take a picture next time.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question and I'll open it up.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your recent cleanup from the snowstorm.
Yeah.
The roads were in great shape. Thank you. I traveled to other communities and I'm very proud of how our streets looked.
Thank you.
Secondly, another commending, your float in the Holiday on the Ave parade was
Good.
great. It was
The guys do enjoy decorating. the
it was
front of the
really
trailer,
good. So,
Yeah.
and a personal thank you for your welcome and support
Yeah.
during my transition.
Absolutely.
Trustee Solotra.
Yeah, I think we've talked about a lot of these things. I
Yeah.
have not yet set up my time to come chat with you about my liaison seat, but I'm sure we'll be there.
Definitely.
I think we should have a visit to the water plant and then let's go meet the beaver.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if I want to meet the beaver again.
Yeah.
Trustee Brown.
Can we name the beaver?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Would make for a fun contest.
It would.
I just really want to thank you for your diligence in terms of the numerous kind of water issues that we've been having. Your comments in the story in the Gazette were right on. I think in talking to some village residents, I think it put a lot of them at ease and letting them know what was going on in a really clear and concise manner. And you're staying on top of it, and your follow up and the way you've communicated about it has been, I think, important to our residents. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Trustee
everyone.
Cook.
No, I mean, everything that I could possibly say has already been said, but, I really kudos to your team as well. Our DPW staff is a hardworking staff, and they're also very skilled in a lot of what they do. And I do want to point out how much collaboration and work does already go on between the Village of Scotia DPW and the town of Glenville.
Yeah.
There is a lot of shared work that goes on. You guys have each other's back, and it's great to see. And I want to thank you for doing that and helping to clean out Berkeley Square.
Thank
I want to comment, the roof is leaking currently right now. So
Yes.
let's get that new roof in
Yeah,
summer
let's get that
23.
new roof so we can get rid of this very creative
Yeah.
engineering.
Thank you.
Might you catch one on the head?
Unfortunately, Chief Wood got called out. But Chief Harrigan,
I'm the only one left. Sure.
Thanks, that ceremony was nice, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. So this month is busy as every other month we have. The officers are very active. It's a tough month. Morale is pretty good. We got a lot of changeover. Our part-time guys are doing great in the department. They're picking up a lot of shifts, picking up the slack for some people that are going through some different health struggles and stuff within the department. So I'm really happy about that. It definitely brings the morale up. So I really appreciate the board's effort in trying to get that part-time officer program going. So we're just kind of going to keep working at that. The officers this month, in the month of November, did a total of 119 traffic stops. 61 V&T arrests, DWIs, they had 2, misdemeanor arrests, we had a total of 22, felony arrests 2, parking tickets 47, calls for service this month, we had 408. Calls for service, motor vehicle accidents 14, medical and fire assists 53, our property and house checks, we had 397. We assisted other agencies a total of 11 times. And we drove a total of 4,900 miles collectively. Walking beats, we did a total of 31 this month. It's pretty good for the cold weather. So, and that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Cook?
As always, thank you for your leadership and your focus on community policing. And congratulate the new officer on joining our team. I know he's got good leadership, and he's joining a great department. And also in terms of the walking beats, I do know a lot of our businesses down in the Bid area enjoy seeing the police officers walking and stopping in the businesses and really being a presence. So thank you for that. And thank you for still doing it even in these cold weather. Congratulations, winning the Battle of the Badges.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
well.
it was, they did a great job. They all participated. I think everybody's stepping up, even though it's challenging for everyone this time of year. Everybody's going through some different struggles, but the officers are really kind of bringing it together, trying to struggle and get different things done. I know the fire department did too. So it's challenging for everyone. So I was really happy that, and the community helped us out too. So I don't want to forget about them.
Yeah. Thank you. Trustee Brown?
Happy holidays to you. I hope everybody works tough shifts sometimes. It's hard to be away from your family. So I hope everybody does get some time, whether it's on the actual holiday dates or otherwise with their families around this time of year. So thanks for all you do.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
Trustee Solichak?
Same thing. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Welcome to the new officer. It's great to have the staffing that we do and the dedication to the village. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, folks.
Thanks,
Good
Chief.
night.
Thank you. You notice I did not congratulate the chili winner to remain neutral. I need both of you in good shape here. Thank you, sir.
We do have a couple of accomplished chefs and cooks up on the,
Yes, we
on the
do.
trustee board on it. Maybe we need to enter the contest
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, I'm thinking we gotta get some.
Get some.
I believe that the board will have an entry next year.
Okay.
That and the snowplow drivers.
We're trying, right?
All the departments should. All right. Thank you. And we'll get a report from Chief Wood to just give us any additional updates than his regular report. My report, it's going to be very short here today. Mine is a big thank you to the village staff and to the Board of Trustees for welcoming me and helping me so much in my first week. It's been a really busy week. I wasn't expecting the second or third day in office to have to be on TV, but it is what it is, part of the job. But honestly, we are instituting a few changes around getting together and meeting so that we can stay on top of what's happening, so the board's not inundated with things not knowing about. And so the more we get together, the more we can. Maria and her staff have been incredibly helpful. And Lydia answering our questions as we need them. So thank you all for that. The only other thing was I did attend a recent bid meeting, but I'm going to let trustee Cook speak about that, but very impressive, the things that the bid does, and there's always room to improve things, but I'm very happy that we have a business district that's really looking to expand our imprint on this village, and I think that's great. So I'll close with that unless anyone has questions for me. No.
The ARPA funding?
Yes, why don't we touch upon the ARPA funding? So I'm pleased to announce, and I'm just going to make this announcement and let trustee Solochuk and trustee Cook speak a little more detailed about it. But we will be sending out the applications for the ARPA business grants. Thank you to the hard work that our two trustees did on that. We will be sending them out in January. We will be posting, in addition to mailing them to our businesses, we will be posting the application and information online so that we're sure to touch everyone who's possibly eligible. So I thank you both, and trustee Cook, if you'd like to say a few words.
Absolutely. It was a labor of love, because we have some great businesses on the avenue. If anyone reads the Daily Gazette on a daily basis, you saw our comic book store and vintage and new toy store made it on the front cover, and he opened up during the pandemic. And we've had other businesses like Vibrant Nutrition also open up on the Ave during the pandemic, as well as other staple businesses like Pastime Legends, another retail, Village Floral, and the antique store, which has a beautiful holiday display. The last 2 years has been a difficult time, and we spent a lot of time deliberating this small business grant as a board to make sure that the small business grants was helpful to businesses, meaningful to businesses, but at the same time, pay back in dividends to the village. Because when we do have a successful small business corridor, commercial corridor along the avenue, our community is better for it.
Thank you. Trustee Solochuk, I know next time I'll call you first for this.
Oh, it's all right. No, like I said, it's great to see the end result of it. It did take quite a while, admittedly. It was always on our minds, and like you said too, we wanted to do things kind of shaped for the village with the lens of having some examples of different vehicles to do the funding from other municipalities, and just kind of some with an open eyes and honest, offering for assistance. Because I think that will always be there. So it's good to be able to get to that point, and thank you for announcing it for us.
Thank you both for filling in a lot of the details. And I look at this like it's just, we're moving forward. It may have taken us some time, but it's here, it's moving forward. That's the important thing. And it's going to do some really nice things for the village. Thank you both. Thank the other members of the board as well that were here, and Mayor Gifford for pushing this. Next on our, I see that Chief Wood showed up. That's okay. We know you got called out. Would you do your department report now? Yes.
Watch yourself.
So we had about an average amount of calls for the month of November. We did 151 calls, 96 EMS calls, various other calls. Our total to November 30th for the year is 1,668. Last year at this exact same time, we were at 1,368. Since the day I wrote this and the 30th, we did 40 additional calls, and we are at an all-time high for the history of the fire department. So as you can see, we're up 300 calls from last year. It's been very busy. Let's see. I apologize. I had to run out. for an
That's
emergency.
okay. We understand.
So in November, we participated in the annual Schenectady Holiday Parade. I was able to attend with the fire department. I think it was extremely well received from us. And it was the most people I've ever seen at a parade in a lot of years. I think it was well attended. We had a good showing. Everybody had a good time. We had the boat in the parade because we still had it out because we were granted the grant to put a new motor on it. So we didn't put it in storage yet. So we used it as a float. It worked very well. We put the family members up in the boat so they were safe while going through the parade. Since then, the boat has gone to CR Marine, who was the low bidder for the motor replacement. The motor is in stock. They're going to work on it when they can. Obviously, it's no rush because it's not going back in the water until spring. The only thing I did mention was just as a reminder is with the Sunnyside Road Bridge closed, it has, we do have a plan in place for any of the residents that are on the east side of the bridge. There are a few. We have the city and the Air National Guard on automatic mutual aid to respond to any fire calls on that side. We will still go, but we're getting more resources coming right away. There's been a couple hiccups with the ambulance service forgetting that the bridge is closed, but nothing detrimental. With the, as the board knows, we're getting the new rescue soon. In anticipation of that, we needed to make room in this station. So we have an agreement with Thomas Corners to store our second engine up at their station. We have 24-hour access. We still go up there once a week and do a rig check on it. But it's out of the building, so we have room inside the building. And that's about it.
Thank you.
Just a very busy year. Thank
It
you.
sounds it. Thank you so much. Trustee Cook.
Yes, a busy year means increased stress, especially increased stress that comes after 2 years of incredible stress. And I want to thank you, as well as the Scotia firefighters, for everything that they've done these past 2 years and will continue to do this year. Know that your service is valued by not only the residents of the Village of Scotia, but all those in Glenville Fire District 4. So please accept my gratitude. Of those calls this month, I actually can say 2 of those calls went to a relative of mine. And I will say she is here today because of your quick response, but also your incredible cartside care. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your service there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Brown.
Just echoing my message to Chief Harrigan, this is a tough time where, you all don't have regular hours like a lot of us do. And so, during the holiday season, it's tough to be away from your family. So I hope everybody gets some time with their families and just wish you and the folks at the fire department a very happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Solochuk.
Yeah, when we were listening to Dan speak about the calls he had and then the assistance calls he had with the fire department, that's the first thing I thought of. I looked up on the agenda was where you're at with the calls, and it's not lost on us, as Trustee Cook said, what you guys go through. We as everyday average residents don't necessarily have the level of ask for our job. So, we're very thankful for you guys and acknowledge that fact. And, even as we don't have a lot of expansion as far as residents and population, we do see that happening in other places that you guys serve. So it's right in there, right on top of my mind. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays to your team and yourself, and thank you, Chief Hood.
What are they doing?
Yes, please.
Next, I have no correspondence to update on at this moment. Next are our liaison and special committee reports. Trustee Solotra?
I just wanted to make a little addition to the Department of Public Works and the facilities. We had a presentation with the planning board. The planning board is another one of my liaisons.
Yes.
So the facilities project had the opportunity to present to the planning board, and if you guys did not know, throughout the whole process, I was ensuring that the business improvement district guidelines were in front of the architects and the engineers and our construction management, that they had a knowledge and a visual from the very beginning after we had the site selection. And this is like, make sure you have this in front of your engineers. And they really did a great job moving through the whole process of trying to identify, colors of the exterior and the planning and the process that's around our business improvement guidelines. So the presentation to the planning board was actually very well received, I thought. And, even though that acknowledgement from the beginning was there, there still were a couple comments that the planning board got to speak about. One of them was it's called massing. It's like like if you look at the plan, it's a big red wall on the side of it. And, the plans don't necessarily do justice of it, but part of the business improvement guidelines is like kind of a percentage or a identification of breaking up those big structures, which the whole side of that building is going to be when people come into the village, that open parking lot, big wall. So one of the plans, if you had the chance to review it, was, there's discussion of a mural project kind of towards the front of it to break up that front part of it, and then the identification from our planning board chair, Eric Buskirk, about the massing of the rest of it. So there are going to be details, additions to kind of break that up and really kind of align for it. We're not at the point yet to put green space in. We are at the point of putting lighting into the design. So they got a chance to comment on that, of the placement of the lighting in the parking lot. We actually got to talk about that too, as far as like why they're doing one things. As you get to the edge of the property, you have a zero saturation of light that goes off the property. So they're specifically intently designed to be where they are. And it was great to see the interaction between Naparella and the planning board, and just to see that come to fruition throughout. Yeah, it's a busy time of year for everybody, and and with the water questions that are going on, and the acknowledgement of business as usual that keeps going on and comparing, and we keep exceeding our expectations and meeting them. So it's great to be part of that. So,
Thank you, Trustee.
and welcome to your first official.
Thank you, I
monthly
appreciate
meeting.
that. Thank you.
It's always a fun time. I don't know, maybe we're doing something right that nobody's here to yell at us.
I like that.
I double checked that I had the right Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I double checked.
Love it too.
I double checked that we had the right day. I wrote that down. I said, did I miss, are we in Groundhog's Day?
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Brown.
Just a quick thank you to my fellow trustees, Mayor Rucciferro, and the staff here at the village for, as the new guy, you've made it incredibly easy in terms of transition and your support. So just want to say thank you. In terms of my liaison reports, Zoning Board of Appeals has not met since our last, really in a while. So there hasn't been anything that's come in front of that group. There has been turnover. I have had to resign my seat there because of my current trustee role, and empty spots have been filled. So thank you for doing that quickly. Special events, just Holiday on the Ave was wonderful. So just really just want to thank and commend the group that worked on that. It was an incredibly well attended event, and everything went smooth, and it was really well done. I'm reaching out to Carrie from the Special Events Committee so that we can have some regular meetings between she and I. And then for fire, the chief and I have connected for the date and time of our regular meeting, so I can I can have up-to-date information before our work session and these meetings. And then I just wanted to keep front and center that the issue with the new rescue truck, we need to do some follow-up on our end on that, because there was some correspondence back and forth about how to make that happen. And there's some funding things we need to work out so that we can make sure that gets delivered, that we can maintain a good relationship with the vendor that we use. So we can talk separately about that.
Well, I can get an update.
Excellent.
We've reached out to the attorney for the estate where the money's coming from. I spoke today to the individual who's putting the truck together for us. He's fine. In fact, with the weather coming, he was preferring to not have it delivered. So I think we're in good shape with that.
Excellent. Thank you.
I'll give you an update on Monday to where we finally stand.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
Trustee Cook.
All right, so first is the bid report. Again, special events are economic drivers, especially for a lot of our bid businesses when the events like Holiday on the Ave take place down on Mohawk Avenue. It was a tremendous turnout. I actually volunteered at a table where I had lots of folks coming in from out of town to help promote a group. And they said it was almost like a Norman Rockwell painting. It was a really big show of what this community is, how close knit we are, and that we really do like our special events. And the comic book store, we were positioned right out in front of the comic book store, and the Village Floral and the comic book store had a nonstop flow of people going in. So it was a huge boost. This holiday season, I want to encourage everyone to shop the Avenue, shop Scotia. There's lots of great restaurants for gift cards that you can purchase this holiday season, not just on Mohawk Ave, but also at other places in the village. But in particular, shop small. I think that's very important for us. We do have everything from video game stores to boutiques just outside of the village. So definitely want to encourage that. The other part is while you're walking around the village, you're going to notice a lot of lights, especially lights on Mohawk Avenue. It's Light Up the Avenue, so folks can actually go to Scotia.com, vote for their favorite light display on their business. I noticed Jumping Jacks has actually decked their halls with boughs of holly and bright lights this holiday season. So be sure to participate in Light the Avenue. Voting will close very, very soon. So be sure to log your vote while you can. One of the issues that continues, to be of importance for the bid business in particular is kind of revisiting and re-talking about and strategizing how we move forward with the recommendations put forth in the linkage study plan. We are going to be coming up pretty soon to potentially some deadlines for grant funds where we can realize some of the dreams and some of the actual tangible plans that we've drawn up. The linkage study does give us an advantage with a lot of these grant projects. It'll help increase our ADA compliance as well as our pedestrian friendly, as well as public transportation friendly corridors. We now have actually 3 buses that go through our village. One going from Amsterdam to Schenectady, the other going from Schenectady to Saratoga, and then the loop that goes throughout the village on the 353. So linkage study is important. The other element is the police department. As we heard, it was a very busy month. I do want to take a moment and congratulate again Carlton for joining our team. 11 years of service as a police officer in Niskayuna. He's now moved back to the area, and we are incredibly grateful to have such an experienced officer joining our ranks. And I know that he's going to fit in quite well with our department and serve our community with integrity, as well as in that spirit of community policing that is running through our department. I do also want to let the board know that the Village of Scotia is participating in Stop DWI initiative. This month is Stop DWI month. The goal of it is to reduce the number of persons killed and injured in alcohol and other drug-related crashes. So it's important to realize that buzz driving is drunk driving, and that you can't afford to have a ticket because it's very expensive. But more importantly, you do not want to take a loved one from someone before the holidays. So please don't drive drunk. And if you do drive drunk, Scotia Police will be there enforcing and catching you. So That is all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. And trustee Cook, I will add to one of our January work sessions, the issue on the project that the bid has talked about,
Perfect.
so we can come up to date on that, okay? That I'll close that agenda item and move to item number 15, budget adjustments for the month of November.
I'd like to make a motion to make the budget, all necessary budget amendments for the month of November.
Seconded.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Next is our audit of claims.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the audit of claims.
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So moved. I experienced that this evening. The work, it's a lot of work, so I appreciate it.
Party sitting in.
I didn't say that. Next, we can do these individually or together, the approval of minutes.
I'd like to make it,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we'll have to do these next month.
No, that's right, I'm
Since
sorry.
Trustee Gray isn't.
We don't have a quorum
Yeah.
for the
because
minutes.
You will need to abstain since you.
Trustee Brown and I need to
Three of
abstain.
us, yeah.
Yep, sorry. So we'll move those to our next meeting. I know that ruins everybody's. Any new business? If there's no new business, I'll take a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Whew. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain from adjourning? I don't know what that means, but we are adjourned.
There we go.
Who doesn't want to